Veganism is a philosophy and means of living which seeks to exclude, as significantly as is possible and practicable, all forms of profiteering of, and rudeness to, animals for food, garments or any kind of other function, and by extension, advertises the advancement and make use of animal-free alt. Vegetarianism is not an unapologetically prejudiced ideological background or perspective along with which the majority of present-day liberals and traditionalists usually tend to disagree. In dietary conditions, it denotes the practice of giving along with all products obtained totally or partially coming from pets. Some creature products consist of an artificial component, natural sensory element, i.e. a chemical that might harm individual efficiency or result in hypersensitive reactions. To know artificial products, inspect along with our study group and observe instructions on our website to discover out the details component that might be utilized for those products. There are actually lots of ways to welcome vegan living. The only method to recognize the impact of consuming animal products is to consume a whole plant diet regimen. All vegetations and creatures are important, and the food market's passion in pets is to create a great deal of vegetation alternatives that are going to assist us and nurture us. Nevertheless, we might not regularly concede about the foods and substances that we can consume ourselves. The following basic and easy dish for vegan food is a dish being made up of plant foods. However, one trait all vegans have in common is a plant-based diet avoiding all pet foods items such as pork, including fish, shellfish and pests, dairy, eggs and natural honey, as properly as staying away from animal-derived products, products tested on pets and area that use animals for enjoyment. According to the most up-to-date global nutrition data, we right now have even more than 16,000 vegan restaurants in 41 countries worldwide, and more than 900 of them in some nations utilize animal-derived products. Although the vegetarian diet regimen was specified early on in the Vegan Society's beginnings in 1944, it was as late as 1949 before Leslie J. Cross aimed out that the community did not have an interpretation of veganism. The name was then utilized to explain all other animal rights activities under the label, Animal Liberation Movement. In 1948, it ended up being the second label to be altered, veganism. The team was outlawed at that opportunity, and members could not be paid out for registration. He proposed the principle of the liberation of animals coming from exploitation through mail. It is not needed for the state to figure out that such creatures in most instances drop within the interpretation of exploitation in the legislation, and for the repudiation of any kind of arrangement that may be construed to have avoided such, federally recognized, animals coming from being manipulated. This is later on clarified as, to seek an end to the make use of animals by mail for food, items, work, hunting, vivisection, and by all various other make use of entailing exploitation of creature life through mail. 7. If a person desires to stop the exploitation of animal lifestyle through mail, he should refrain coming from performing therefore. The community was to begin with signed up as a charity in August 1964, but its assets were later on transferred to a new charity when it likewise became a minimal company in December 1979. The name was after that relabeled the Society of Charity Schools and is now the Society of the Children's Association, SCARA. The second charity to be registered was the American Medical Association. The Clinical Association was signed up in 1965 and the organization moved to the U.S. in 1981. With this brand new company, the AMA was generated in 1967.